Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about something truly special, the 2026 Rolls-Royce lineup. And let me tell you, if you thought Rolls-Royce was impressive before, what they're doing for 2026 is absolutely mind-blowing. We're not just talking about luxury cars here. We're talking about rolling works of art that redefine what's possible in automotive excellence. So grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's dive into the world of Rolls-Royce because whether you're dreaming of owning one someday or just appreciate automotive perfection, this is going to be fascinating. Let's start with what makes Rolls-Royce so special in 2026. The brand continues to offer their legendary models, the Ghost, the Cullinan SUV, and the all-electric Spectre, and each one represents the absolute pinnacle of what's possible in their respective categories. But what's really exciting is how Rolls-Royce is balancing tradition with innovation, bringing cutting-edge technology while maintaining that timeless elegance they're famous for. The Ghost is where we'll begin, because it's the entry point into Rolls-Royce ownership. Though calling anything that starts at over $350,000 an entry point feels almost absurd. But in the world of Rolls-Royce, the Ghost is their more driver-focused sedan, and for 2026 it continues to be an absolute masterpiece. Under that impossibly long hood sits a twin-turbocharged 6.7-liter V12 engine, producing 563 horsepower. Now, if you opt for the Black Badge version, which is Rolls-Royce's more performance-oriented take, you get 591 horsepower. But here's the thing about Rolls-Royce power. It's not about aggression or drama. It's about effortless, serene forward motion. They describe it as having power in reserve, and that's exactly what it feels like. The design of the Ghost is pure elegance. It's understated in a way that only the truly confident can pull off. There's no shouty styling, no aggressive lines trying to grab attention. It doesn't need to. That iconic Pantheon grille, the Spirit of Ecstasy hood ornament, the perfectly proportioned silhouette. It all whispers rather than shouts, and somehow that makes it even more commanding on the road. The illuminated grille is standard, by the way, and seeing it light up at night is genuinely magical. It's these little details that separate Rolls-Royce from everything else. Step inside the Ghost and you enter another world entirely. We're talking about the finest leather you've ever felt, hand-stitched with a level of precision that would make a master tailor jealous. Open-pore wood veneers that are selected from a single tree to ensure perfect grain matching across the entire dashboard. Metal trim polished to a mirror finish that honestly looks like fine jewelry. The carpets are so thick and plush you almost feel guilty walking on them. Everything you touch, everything you see, everything you interact with has been crafted to absolute perfection. Rolls-Royce employs some of the world's finest craftspeople, and you can feel their dedication in every square inch of the cabin. The famous Starlight headliner is available, and if you haven't seen this in person, it's hard to describe just how special it is. Imagine hundreds of tiny fiber optic lights embedded in the headliner, creating the effect of a perfect starry night sky above you. You can even customize the constellation pattern if you want. Some owners have had Rolls-Royce recreate the exact night sky from a meaningful date in their lives. That's the level of personalization we're talking about here. Technology is integrated beautifully in the Ghost. You get heated front and rear seats as standard, power closing doors that shut with the softest touch, parking sensors front and rear, and a suite of driver assistance features. But Rolls-Royce is careful about how they implement technology. It's there when you need it, but it never intrudes on the serene, timeless atmosphere of the cabin. The infotainment system is intuitive. The digital displays are crisp and clear, but they don't dominate the interior the way they do in so many modern cars. Now let's talk about the Cullinan, which is Rolls-Royce's answer to the SUV segment. And calling it just an SUV feels like calling the Mona Lisa just a painting. The Cullinan is named after the largest diamond ever discovered, and that gives you an idea of how Rolls-Royce views this vehicle. It shares the same twin-turbo V12 as the Ghost, producing that same silky smooth 563 horsepower, and it uses the brand's architecture of luxury platform, which is exclusive to Rolls-Royce. What makes the Cullinan special is how it manages to be genuinely capable off-road while maintaining that quintessential Rolls-Royce character. Yes, it has all-wheel drive. Yes, it can handle rough terrain if needed. But the real magic is how it makes every road feel like a perfectly paved highway. The suspension system uses cameras to scan the road ahead and adjusts in real time, smoothing out imperfections before you even reach them. It's called the planar suspension system, and it genuinely makes the Cullinan feel like it's floating down the road. The rear compartment of the Cullinan deserves special mention, because this is where many owners spend their time. You can configure it in different ways, but the individual seat configuration with the center console is particularly impressive. You get seats that rival first-class airplane seats in terms of comfort and adjustability, your own climate controls, entertainment screens, and enough legroom to fully stretch out. There's even an optional champagne refrigerator and crystal champagne flutes because of course there is. This isn't transportation, it's a mobile sanctuary. The exterior design of the Cullinan is commanding without being aggressive. It's tall and imposing, sitting on standard 20-inch wheels that can be upgraded to 21s. But there's a certain grace to its proportions. The coach doors, which open rearward, add to the sense of occasion every time you enter the vehicle. And that Spirit of Ecstasy on the hood, she automatically retracts if someone tries to touch her or if the system detects potential impact. Even the hood ornament is engineered to perfection. Then we have the Spectre, and this is where things get really interesting because the Spectre represents Rolls-Royce's first fully electric vehicle. This is their vision for the future of ultra-luxury, and they've proven that going electric doesn't mean sacrificing any of the brand's core values. In fact, in many ways, electric power is perfectly suited to the Rolls-Royce philosophy because it's inherently smooth and silent. The Spectre is a grand tourer, a spiritual successor to the legendary Phantom Coupe, and it's absolutely stunning in person. The proportions are perfect. Long hood, short rear deck, a fastback roofline that flows elegantly from windshield to tail. But it's also clearly modern with design elements that set it apart from the rest of the Rolls-Royce lineup. This is a car that looks like it's moving even when it's standing still. Power comes from dual electric motors producing a combined 577 horsepower and a massive 664 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 happens in under 4.5 seconds, but again, it's not about the numbers. It's about how that power is delivered, instantaneously, silently, effortlessly. The battery pack provides an estimated range of around 291 miles on a full charge, though opting for the larger 23-inch wheels does reduce that slightly. For a vehicle of this size and luxury, that's quite respectable, and let's be honest, Spectre owners aren't typically concerned about range anxiety. Inside the Spectre, you get all the craftsmanship and attention to detail you'd expect, but with some special electric touches. The door panels feature tiny LED lights that sparkle like stars, echoing the famous Starlight headliner but in a new location. The personalization options are essentially endless. Want your initials embroidered into the headrests? Done. Want the wood trim to come from a specific type of tree? They'll make it happen. Want a custom paint color that matches your favorite sunset? Rolls-Royce has a bespoke department that lives for these kinds of requests. One thing that sets Rolls-Royce apart from every other luxury brand is this commitment to bespoke customization. When you order a Rolls-Royce, you're not just picking from a list of options packages. You're working with designers and craftspeople to create something that's uniquely yours. The brand has a whole team dedicated to making even the wildest ideas come to life. Some customers have had picnic sets created to match their car's interior. Others have had custom artwork incorporated into the dashboard. There are Rolls-Royces out there with rose petals embedded in the paint, with gold flakes mixed into the clear coat, with Starlight headliners that recreate specific astronomical moments. This is what separates Rolls-Royce from simply being expensive. It's truly bespoke in a way that few things in the modern world are. Let's talk about pricing, because I know that's on everyone's mind, even if most of us are just dreaming. The Ghost starts at over $350,000, but that's really just the beginning. Most Ghosts leave the factory closer to $450,000 or more once owners add their personalization touches. The Cullinan has a similar starting point but can easily climb well past $500,000 with options. And the Spectre, being the newest and most technologically advanced, starts around $420,000 but can exceed $500,000 quite easily with customization. Now, I know those numbers sound absolutely astronomical to most of us, and they are. But here's the thing about Rolls-Royce. These cars hold their value remarkably well, and more importantly, they're built to last generations. These aren't appliances on wheels. They're heirlooms. Rolls-Royce has a whole department dedicated to maintaining and restoring even century-old cars. The brand takes pride in the fact that most Rolls-Royces ever built are still on the road today. When you buy a Rolls-Royce, you're buying into that legacy. How does the 2026 lineup compare to previous years? Honestly, the changes are subtle because Rolls-Royce doesn't follow typical model year update cycles the way other manufacturers do. They make continuous improvements, refining details, incorporating new technologies when they enhance the experience, but never making changes just for the sake of change. The core philosophy remains the same. Create the finest automobiles in the world using the best materials and the most skilled craftspeople. The 2026 models benefit from years of refinement to the architecture of luxury platform, improved battery technology in the Spectre, and ongoing enhancements to the infotainment and driver assistance systems across the lineup. What's really impressive is how Rolls-Royce has managed to stay relevant while remaining true to their heritage. In a world of touchscreens and autonomous driving, where so many luxury brands are chasing tech for tech's sake, Rolls-Royce maintains that human element. Yes, they have the latest technology, but it serves the experience rather than defining it. The focus is still on craftsmanship, on materials, on that ineffable sense of occasion that comes with owning and driving a Rolls-Royce. Who are these cars for? Obviously, they're for people who have achieved extraordinary success and want to celebrate that success with something truly special. But it's more than just about the money. Rolls-Royce customers tend to be people who appreciate craftsmanship, who value heritage, who understand the difference between expensive and valuable. They're entrepreneurs, business leaders, artists, and collectors who see a Rolls-Royce not just as transportation, but as a piece of automotive art. And here's something that surprised me when I started researching Rolls-Royce. Contrary to popular belief, a good number of owners actually drive their cars themselves rather than being driven. The Ghost in particular is designed with the driver in mind, offering an engaging and rewarding driving experience despite its size and luxury focus. There's something special about piloting 5,000+ pounds of absolute perfection down the road, feeling that V12 respond to your right foot, experiencing how the suspension makes every road feel smooth. It's a different kind of performance than what you get from a sports car, but it's no less satisfying in its own way. The future of Rolls-Royce looks incredibly bright. The Spectre has proven that the brand can transition to electric power without losing any of their identity. In fact, the silent, instant torque delivery of electric motors might be even more aligned with the Rolls-Royce philosophy than internal combustion. The brand has announced that all their models will eventually be electrified, and if the Spectre is any indication of what's to come, that's very exciting news. At the end of the day, a Rolls-Royce is about more than just the sum of its parts. Yes, the materials are the finest available. Yes, the engineering is impeccable. Yes, the performance is effortless and the comfort is unmatched. But what really sets these cars apart is the intangible quality. That sense of occasion. The feeling that you're experiencing something truly special every time you approach one, open the door, settle into those impossibly comfortable seats, and glide away. It's automotive excellence elevated to an art form. For most of us, a Rolls-Royce will remain a dream, something to aspire to, something to admire from afar. And that's okay. These cars exist to represent the absolute pinnacle of what's possible, to push boundaries, to show us what happens when cost is no object and perfection is the only goal. They inspire other manufacturers to raise their game. They preserve traditional crafts that might otherwise be lost. And they create jobs for some of the world's most talented artisans. So there you have it. The 2026 Rolls-Royce lineup in all its glory. Whether it's the driver-focused Ghost, the commanding Cullinan, or the futuristic Spectre, each one represents the absolute best in its category. These are cars that make you believe. In the phrase, the best or nothing, cars that justify their astronomical price tags through uncompromising attention to detail and unwavering commitment to excellence. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of Rolls-Royce, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We've got plenty more luxury car content coming your way. And hey, drop a comment below. If you could design your own bespoke Rolls-Royce with unlimited budget, what would you create? I'd love to hear your dream specs. Until next time, keep dreaming big, and who knows, maybe one day we'll all be cruising in our own Rolls-Royce. See you in the next one.